Welcome back for another deep dive. This time, we're going to be talking about Napoli, the Finnish professional organization for women in tech.
Oh, yeah.
And we're going through their 2024 membership survey results.
Fascinating stuff.
Yeah, and it's more than just like looking at the numbers.
Right.
It's really about getting a feel for, what makes this group tick, how they see themselves, what they want.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, we always hear about these challenges, right? Women in tech face.
Yeah.
But this is really cool because it gives us like a look inside an actual community.
Yeah.
Built by and for these women and seeing how they're, thriving.
Yeah, and just to give you an idea of like the source material, I mean, this is a dense document.
Oh, wow.
65 pages, all in Finnish.
Okay.
But over 26% of Napoli members responded.
That's huge.
Which is huge for a survey like this.
Yeah, just that level of engagement already tells us something.
Right.
These women are invested, right?
Yeah.
They care about their organization. They want to be heard.
And, okay, right off the bat, first, shocker.
Yep.
Only one respondent was under 35. What does that tell you?
Well, it definitely raises questions about who Napoli is attracting, right?
Yeah.
Is this a group that's maybe more for like established professionals or even those who are transitioning out of their, main careers?
Yeah.
I think we need to dig into the data here a little bit.
Yeah, let's look at the whole picture.
Okay.
So most members are from the Helsinki area.
Yeah, makes sense.
Not a huge surprise there, but the median age is around 58,
Okay.
with a quarter over 65.
Wow. So that's definitely skewing older than like your typical professional group.
Yeah.
It suggests to me that maybe Napoli is filling a very specific need for this demographic. Maybe it's continued learning, mentorship, or just staying plugged into the tech world in a way that they might not be able to otherwise.
And get this, over 80% have master's degrees.
What?
A ton in engineering.
That's some serious brain power.
Talk about brain.
Yeah. Makes you wonder, are they using all this expertise within Napoli itself?
Yeah.
Are there knowledge-sharing programs, mentoring? It sounds like there's a gold mine of talent right there in the membership.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
And most members are still working, too.
Really?
62.5%, with many in leadership or expert roles.
Wow. So this isn't just a social club.
Right.
These women are active and at the top of their game, it seems.
So we've got experienced, highly educated women, many at the peak of their careers.
Right.
Why join Napoli?
Yeah, that is the question, isn't it? I mean, what are they looking for?
So the survey focused on those who joined in the last 3 years.
Okay.
That's about 20% of the respondents.
Right.
What were they looking for?
Yeah.
Connection.
Okay.
The top reason was to be part of a network of women in tech.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
Especially in a field that can feel, still dominated by men.
Oh, absolutely.
Having that space to connect, share experiences, and find support. That's invaluable.
Yeah, and think about it. For this age group, I mean, they're less likely to be like scrolling social media looking for these kinds of groups.
Right.
So, word of mouth.
Yeah, 59%
Powerful.
heard about Napoli through a friend.
That speaks volumes, actually, about the trust they place in their peers' recommendations.
Totally.
Yeah.
Now get this, 35% join in the latter half of their careers, and 29% during or after retirement.
Now, that's interesting.
What does it tell us?
What does that say about the changing needs, right?
Yeah.
Of women in tech? I mean, maybe they're looking for different things from professional organization as they, move into different phases of life.
And here's a missed opportunity. You ready?
Okay.
The biggest reason people didn't join sooner,
Yeah.
they just didn't know Napoli existed.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Right.
Yeah, it really highlights the importance of like targeted outreach, right? How can Napoli reach these women earlier in their careers? Maybe partnerships with universities, other organizations, even corporate initiatives could make a big difference.
So we've got these women joining. They're looking for a network.
Yeah.
They're looking for engaging experiences.
Right.
Did Napoli deliver?
Well, did they?
Overwhelmingly, yes.
Okay.
96.1% of respondents were satisfied or very satisfied with the organization's activities.
Okay, that's a high bar.
Yeah.
It seems like they're doing something right.
Yeah. But, as always, I think we should pay attention to those who weren't fully satisfied.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
What can we learn?
Yeah, what can we learn from their feedback? Let's dig in.
Let's dive into what members were looking for and what they thought could be better.
Okay.
First up, diverse events were key.
Makes sense.
Company visits were specifically mentioned by 13% of respondents.
They want to peek behind the curtain.
Yeah, they want to see what's happening at these leading tech companies.
I can see the appeal. It's not just about networking, right? It's about access.
Yeah.
These women are at a point in their careers where they could probably, arrange these visits themselves.
Right.
But Napoli streamlines it.
Yeah.
Opens doors that they might not have even considered.
Networking, connecting with like-minded women, and just, plain enjoying each other's company.
Sure.
Were also high priorities.
Yeah, makes sense.
Several members even mentioned access to exclusive places and experiences they couldn't arrange on their own.
Ooh, that's a strong selling point.
Yeah.
It's not just what you gain professionally, but also the memories, right? You create along the way, the experiences.
Yeah.
Like it adds a whole other layer, kind of like excitement, exclusivity.
But hold on.
Well, there's more.
It wasn't all sunshine and roses.
Okay.
Even with that high satisfaction rate, some members had some suggestions.
Yeah, I was going to say.
For improvement.
That's where the gold is, right?
Right.
Like constructive feedback, that's how any organization grows.
Exactly.
So what were the main themes? What did people feel like was missing?
One big one was the desire for more networking and deeper conversations. Some felt events were too activity-focused, leaving little time for that meaningful connection.
I see. So it's like a tension there.
Yeah.
They want those unique experiences Napoli provides.
Right.
But they also crave like genuine connection.
Yeah.
It's the balancing act.
Yeah.
To figure that out.
One respondent even mentioned feeling like an outsider in groups with pre-existing relationships.
Oh, I've been there.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you walk into an event and everybody already knows each other.
It can be really intimidating.
Yeah, especially for newcomers.
Especially for newcomers, absolutely.
So it highlights the need for Napoli to be intentional about fostering that inclusivity.
Right. Simple things can make a big difference.
Yeah.
Name tags.
Yeah.
Icebreaker activities. Even just like assigned seating at events.
Those little things
could make people feel so much more welcome.
Yeah.
And connected.
So there was also a call for more company visits, more career stories from successful women, insights into like industry trends.
Okay, so it sounds like they want a little bit more professional development woven into the experience.
Yeah, it's like they're saying we love the fun stuff.
Yeah.
But let's also tap into that collective wisdom.
Right, yeah.
And help each other grow.
They want to learn from each other.
Right.
Gain new skills, stay ahead of the curve.
Right, so now we're tapping into that gold mine of talent within Napoli.
Yeah.
And they could become like this hub for professional development.
Absolutely.
And mentorship.
Which could even attract new members, too.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's talk about the heart of Napoli, their events.
Okay, lay it on me. What were the crowd pleasers?
The summer excursion to Paimio and Tamisari.
Oh, nice.
Clear winner.
Those are lovely towns.
Yeah, charming little Finnish towns.
Definitely worth a visit. Okay, what else made the top of the list?
Wine tasting.
Okay.
Phantom of the Opera performance.
Nice.
A charity rowing event.
Okay.
They even visited a historic manor house for an author talk.
Wow. Talk about variety.
Right.
They got something for everyone.
They really do.
Yeah, this eclectic mix, it really speaks to the diverse interests of their membership.
Now, get this.
Okay.
The most popular event type was online fitness classes.
Right.
22%
Okay.
of respondents participated.
I'm a little surprised, but in a good way.
Yeah.
It shows that they're not just about, professional development or socializing, right?
Right.
They're embracing wellness, too.
Yeah. Which is a smart move for that demographic.
Absolutely. Especially for, a group that might be more focused on their health and well-being these days.
Exactly. Yeah. So what events did people miss that they wish they hadn't?
I'm curious. Tell me, what were the most regretted missed opportunities?
The missed wine tasting. And a visit to a Christmas-themed store topped the list.
Oh, that's cute.
Sounds like they need to bring those back.
Yeah, repeating those popular events is always a good strategy.
Yeah.
But it's also important to keep things fresh,
Sure.
Introduce some new and exciting options, keep people on their toes.
So what events left a lasting impression?
That's what I want to know. The ones that really stuck with people.
Members consistently cited experiences that offered that unique access.
Yeah.
And the opportunities to learn something new.
Okay.
Imagine standing on a remote island, wind whipping through your hair.
Okay, I'm there.
As you learn about its fascinating history.
Beautiful.
That's the kind of memory Napoli creates.
It's not just about attending an event, right?
Right.
It's about having that experience
that
resonates.
Yeah.
That you wouldn't have thought to seek out on your own.
They had lighthouse excursions, island trips, even a tour of Finnair's hangar.
Wow.
And get this, a visit to a Freemason lodge. These are not things you can just Google and book yourself.
It speaks to the value of those curated experiences.
Yeah.
Especially for a group of women who are used to, taking charge, making things happen.
Yeah.
Napoli's offering something really unique.
Right.
And unexpected.
So we've established Napoli is this vibrant community. They've got a lot to offer.
They do.
But there's always room for growth, right?
Absolutely. Even the most successful organizations need to adapt and evolve.
Right.
To stay relevant. So what are some of the key suggestions for how Napoli can level up?
Yeah, what did members envision for the future?
Yeah, let's dive into that.
We'll get into that next.
Okay, so let's get into that desire for deeper connections that we were talking about.
Yeah.
It seems like members are craving more than just those surface level interactions.
Right. They want to make real relationships.
Yeah, exactly. Find those aha moments.
Yeah.
Where you discover shared interests or maybe even find a mentor or a collaborator.
You hit it right on the head.
Yeah. And they had some pretty practical suggestions for how to actually achieve this.
Okay, give me the goods. What did they recommend?
Well, simple things like wearing name tags.
Oh.
Or pins, for easy identification.
Right. So you're not squinting at someone's tiny little badge.
Exactly. Especially when you've got a glass of wine in your hand and you're, trying to remember names.
It gets awkward. Yeah.
It could be a little awkward.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they also talked about going beyond just those kind of first name introductions.
Yeah.
So imagine instead of just saying, "Hi, I'm so-and-so," you could share a fun fact about yourself or a career highlight or even a passion project you're working on.
Ooh, I like that.
Right. It instantly adds some depth.
Yeah.
Makes you more memorable.
Yeah, it creates those sparks, those connection points.
Yeah, exactly. Those shared moments.
That lead to real conversation.
Yeah, exactly. So then you've got something to talk about.
What about the time constraints that some members mentioned?
Right. They felt like events were maybe a little too structured.
Yeah.
There wasn't enough time for those organic conversations to happen.
Right.
So one simple solution could be just incorporating dedicated networking time into the event schedule.
Yeah.
Even just 30 minutes before or after the main event could make a difference.
Yeah, like a little pre-show cocktail hour.
Exactly. Or a post-event coffee break.
Those little buffer zones.
Yeah. That's where the magic happens.
I like it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's those informal moments that really build those relationships.
Okay. So what about the types of events themselves?
Yeah.
Was there a call for more variety or a change in direction?
Definitely. They appreciated the diverse range, but a lot of them wanted more events focused on professional development, career advancement, and industry trends.
So it's they're saying, hey, we love the fun stuff.
Yeah.
But let's also use this to, level up our careers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. They want to learn from each other. They want to gain new skills, stay ahead of the curve.
Right. So tapping into that gold mine of talent.
They even suggested workshops or seminars on specific industry topics led by experts in the field or successful women in tech.
Love it.
Yeah.
Okay, I got to ask about the theater selections.
Oh, yeah. What about those?
Was it a little too avant-garde for some?
Some felt like the performances were maybe leaning a little too heavily toward the experimental.
Okay.
Or, as one respondent put it, emotionally draining.
Ooh, okay, all right.
They wanted to see, more classic and contemporary concerts.
Yeah.
Maybe even some local musicians or up-and-coming artists.
A little bit more variety.
Yeah, a bit more variety.
Yeah.
It's all about balance.
Sure.
Right.
Did anyone mention outdoor adventures?
Ooh.
I mean, you're in Finland.
You read my mind, actually.
Yeah.
Several members were really interested in new outdoor activities.
Like what?
Like nature walks, bird watching, kayaking excursions,
Oh, that sounds so peaceful.
Just imagine paddling across a beautiful Finnish lake with a group of your fellow Napoli members.
I love that.
Right.
So peaceful, so beautiful.
Let's shift gears for a sec.
Okay.
Let's talk about communication.
Okay, yeah.
Was there anything that members wanted to see improved?
This is an interesting one because communication is key for any organization, but especially one with such a diverse membership,
right? Like
Napoli.
Yeah.
And there were definitely some areas where it seemed like they could do better.
Okay, spill the tea.
Yeah.
What were the communication pet peeves?
Well, a lot of them wanted to get email notifications for all events instead of having to go to the website and check the calendar.
Right, because we're all busy. Who has time for that?
Exactly. It's about meeting people where they are.
Yeah.
And making it easy to stay informed. So what else? What other communication issues came up?
Some members found it frustrating to have to log into the website.
Oh,
just to get the basic event details.
Right. So
they suggested just put all the essential info right there in the email.
Yeah, make it user-friendly.
Exactly. Reduce those barriers to participation.
Totally. Any mention of social media?
Interestingly enough, social media wasn't a huge focus of the feedback.
Okay.
Maybe because of the age demographic.
Yeah, could be.
But, some did suggest maybe using platforms like LinkedIn a little bit more.
Yeah? Yeah.
To share updates, promote events, even just to kind of foster that sense of community online.
I think that's a smart move. LinkedIn's a natural fit for, professional organization.
Absolutely.
So what have we learned so far from this deep dive?
Well, we've learned a ton about what makes this organization tick.
Yeah.
We've seen their strengths,
Yeah.
their challenges, their potential for growth.
Yeah.
I mean, Napoli is clearly a thriving community of accomplished women in tech.
And they're committed to evolving.
Oh, at the depth.
Adapting, meeting the needs of their members.
They're not content to just rest on their laurels.
Yeah.
They're actively looking for ways to improve, to, deepen those connections, to provide more valuable experiences.
It's inspiring.
It really is. It's a testament to, the power of community and the importance of actually listening to your members.
So as we kind of wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to go back to that question we posed earlier.
Yeah, about the ideal organization.
Yeah, if you could design the perfect professional organization, what would be on your list?
That's a great question. I think for me, it would have to start with a strong sense of community.
Yeah.
Not just people who, share a profession.
Right.
But a group that genuinely cares about each other's success and well-being.
I love that. A safe space.
Yeah, a safe space where you can, be yourself, share your challenges, and find support and encouragement.
What else?
I'd also want an organization that prioritizes, both learning and doing.
So not just workshops and lectures.
Yeah, not just the theory, but the actual practice.
Yeah.
Opportunities to actually apply those skills, to collaborate on projects, to, make a real impact.
Putting that knowledge into action.
Exactly, and seeing the results.
What about the personal growth side of things?
Oh, that's huge. I definitely want an organization that encourages personal exploration and discovery.
Yeah.
Maybe it's offering unique travel experiences, cultural events, even wellness retreats.
Okay. Yeah.
It's about helping people expand their horizons.
Yeah. Discover new passions.
Yeah, and connect with themselves on a deeper level.
Right. Recognizing that we're not just professionals, we're whole people.
Exactly. We're whole people.
Yeah.
And nurturing that, holistic well-being can actually make us even more effective in our careers.
Right. It's a win-win.
It's a win-win.
And let's not forget about fun.
Of course not.
The ideal organization would not be all work and no play.
Absolutely not. There needs to be that balance.
So it would create opportunities for members to relax, socialize, build genuine friendships.
Yeah, think about those spontaneous after-work gatherings, weekend adventures, or even just casual coffee chats.
Yeah, love it.
That turn into brainstorming sessions.
That's where the magic happens.
That's where the magic happens, you're right.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Napoli, let's take a moment to reflect on everything we've learned.
Okay.
This organization is doing amazing things for women in tech.
It really are.
But their story highlights the importance of continuous evolution and adaptation.
It really does. I mean, they've shown us that listening to your members, understanding their needs, being willing to change, that's crucial.
It is.
For long-term success.
And they've reminded us that connection, growth, and well-being, those are essential ingredients.
Couldn't agree more.
For any thriving community.
Absolutely.
In the workplace and beyond.
Well said.
We hope you've enjoyed this deep dive.
I know I have.
Into the world of Napoli, and that it's sparked some ideas.
I hope so.
About what you value in a professional organization.
Absolutely.
We love to hear your thoughts.
Oh, yeah. Please share them.
Share your vision for the ideal professional organization with us.
On social media.
It's on social media.
Yeah.
Let's keep this conversation going.
Let's keep it going.
Until next time, keep diving deep.